In this video, I'm going to show you how to start a cleaning business for literally $0. This is based on years of knowledge. I started in the home cleaning industry at 19 years old, eventually did over $15 million in revenue in that business alone. I'm a co-founder of Booking Koala, home to 20,000 services using this platform worldwide. So I get to see exactly what is working. So now, no fluff. We're going to tell you the most important parts in order that you guys will need to start and grow a successful cleaning business. Okay, first of all, cleaning businesses are wonderful businesses to get into because they could make you a lot of money if you do things properly and you set things up properly. That means you have to do things from a branding perspective. It's going to be important. I'll tell you more about that later. And you have to put in systems to make sure that you literally do not work much on this business, but it produces the highest profits. That should be the goal for any business technically, but this is a good business where you can accomplish that and have very good profit margins. Okay, so now let's start. What will you need to do first? First, you have to identify the exact services that you guys want to offer and who you want to attract. Because if you go after commercial versus home cleaning versus post construction, those are three different customers. If you start with all three, you're going to literally make things super, super hard on yourself. You need to identify which one you go for and go after one. You could always expand to other ones. And trust me, all three of them, if you just stayed in one of them, you could make millions of dollars off of them. We just do home cleaning. I know people that do post construction. I know people that do commercial. They all make a lot of money. Pick one, figure out later once one is producing results, figure out if you want to go into the other ones or what you want to do. Expanding is not the problem. Getting to, let's say, 1 million in revenue is the first goal. Then you can expand and work on the other ones. So be as specific as possible because this is how you start any business, not just home cleaning, not just service, any business. You have to niche down because now when you create marketing things later, marketing material, marketing strategies, these are completely different hooks. Going after a homeowner is going to be completely different than going after an office. You have to be as specific as possible. So once you have that down, you'll go on to number two, which is going to be figuring out your system. So Booking Koala or anything that can do that can build you a website that could host your customers, your providers. Okay, super, super important because yes, I've seen people do amazing numbers without even having a website. I just did an overview of a interview that we did with someone that's doing 2,000 cleans, and they don't even have a website. They know the importance of one. They're going to work on one, but that is not the most important part. So if someone is selling you, you need a website, no, or you need a $5,000 website. I always like to use 5,000 because that's kind of the number that developers like to charge. Okay, they're going to say 5,000 will build you a nice conversion friendly website. You don't need that. Go build one on Booking Koala. It's going to be literally dirt cheap. It's more than enough. I even have videos telling you how this is going to outperform $5,000 websites, and you'll never need to switch. It'll come with the system in place that you guys need to grow properly, save money, save time, and all of that good stuff. So, and also you guys can get one of my systems that we have, how to get your first 10K a month in revenue using this system. So it goes over a lot of good things, including implementing the systems and how to actually set up your website, your prices, your marketing strategies, all of that good stuff, and then how to grow and get cleaners, everything like that. Okay. So the second part is going to be the system and the website that you have to put in place. Because even if you don't start with the website now or the system, because technically you can write things down on a piece of paper, but it will be much harder later to transition to that once you start to have clients and you don't have a lot of free time. You want to already have all those things in place because you're already learning those things. So the learning curve is slowly happening versus throwing everything at you at once and then the transitioning, writing, moving everybody over to the system and all of that stuff. So it helps. Number three is going to be figuring out if you guys are going to do the cleaning yourself or if you guys are going to outsource it to other people that are going to do it for you. So me, I've never done the cleaning myself, okay? But I know people that, whether they're starting a home cleaning company, mobile detailing, whatever, they did the service themselves and then learned it and eventually, hired people to perform those jobs instead. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but that is your choice. You can, you don't have to. Again, why? Because why would you want to specialize in performing the service? You don't need to do that when you already hire qualified individuals, right? They do it, and you focus on the most important parts that are going to buy you freedom. And a lot of times, what I see is people get stuck doing the actual service, and they get to start making this much money, and then later when it comes to transitioning over to just management and running their business, they don't want to give a chunk to anybody else. They don't think that someone will perform as good of a job as them, or they just don't have time because now they have clients they service. They kind of put themselves in this mess and they don't have time to start learning anything else. And that's the important part of actually growing and reaching freedom, taking yourself out of that, service position. So I always say, start the right way. You literally have so many people starting that way. It's not like, hey, one person has done it. Probably millions of people do it that way and succeed in service businesses without actually ever doing the work themselves. So that is going to be number three. Number four is going to be uh, probably getting your first cleaner. Figure out how to get your first cleaner, because now that you decided you're going to, you know, give a cut to somebody, you will now look for getting a cleaner. And how are you going to do that? I always say this will go for marketing as well. Look at free channels. How can you get them for free? Okay, because often at times you'll know from a network like family or friends somebody that can do this job. Okay, and that becomes the easiest way. If you don't, then look somewhere in Facebook groups. Okay, um, call other services and see if they are willing to take on some jobs that you have. Okay, maybe you don't have them yet, but you could tell them, I will have some coming up. Are you willing to take these jobs? Always the starting point is the hardest, but that's in any business. You have to get through that point, that part, and that is why reoccurring revenue is awesome, because it slowly builds the foundation where after, let's say, 10 clients or 15 clients, it gets that much easier, because let's say you have two providers at that point, things are figured out. And then once you make it to that point, I'm telling you, it's a much different ball game than it is when you're actually starting. And that's kind of the difference between people that are failing versus succeeding. They worked hard, they got to the 10 clients, 15, whatever it may be. It's not that much, and keep going from there. Okay, so free channels. You could leverage Craigslist. Look what's popular in your market, of course. Craigslist, maybe Facebook. Maybe some of them are going to be later paid, but and I have other videos that talk about just hiring and just marketing. Make sure you watch those. I don't want to make this too long. I just want to give you the outline for you guys to actually follow and in order, so you guys know what to do first. Then you guys can find my other videos and go specific on that. Okay, so hiring will be the next most important part, and this is probably the most important part. Okay, on top of having a system, hiring is going to be the other part. So if I had to say three most important part that all are tied, is the system, is the providers, the cleaners, and the marketing. Now going on to marketing. Marketing, I should have said actually branding, not marketing. Branding your company. So making sure that your brand is the strongest one in the area. That is what you want. And that's where a lot of people get hurt. I've seen people say, if you do a poor job and someone wants a refund because they're threatening to leave a review, don't don't give them $100 back because they might leave the review anyways. Okay, great. Well, that's not the point. The point is not to get that review. So if they don't, even if you give 10 refunds, which doesn't happen as much as you think, and we have thousands of clients, even if out of 10 people you give all 10 back and two still leave a review, but you avoided eight or five, that's huge. In the long run, that's huge. And so don't listen to people that will tell you, do not give it. Yes, you don't want to give it, especially if you know this guy or this person, this girl is fishing for a refund. But it's not the $100. $100 or $200 when you're doing millions over years is nothing. The reviews will add up. So you try to avoid them as much as possible. Okay. So the brand is key. You need to have the best cleaners, the best brand, so that you can grow as many reviews. Every single person that you get free or paid, you need to go for a review. Get a review out of them. Okay, get the review internally on Booking Koala. It matters so much. There's a video on that specifically. And that's why I say get the 10K system, because I tell you why these things matter. And it makes such a difference that most people won't even realize until they go through it. So get the 10K system, learn why branding is so important, why internal reviews, you need to get internal reviews, and we make it easy for you to do that. Get external reviews, those help you bring outside clients in, okay? And just worry about your brand and then figure out how to get clients. In this video, I'm not going to talk about how to get your clients. There's literally a bunch of videos I have that talk great strategies. Some of them are very long, some of them are short. Go through them if you're serious about growing your cleaning business. They will be very helpful. And these are basically the steps you need to follow to successfully grow a cleaning service.